Okay, so welcome to Hernia Patient Support Group and to our live chats. I'm Jackie and I'm one of the group admins, and I'm delighted to be joined tonight by Nick Dames, who is the owner of Vanilla Blush in Glasgow. And she's here today to talk to us about support wear for hernia. So welcome, Nick, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So this chat is being recorded and it will be available to view afterwards on YouTube. There will be time if anybody has any questions to ask your questions, and we'll ask Nick to answer the best you can. So Nick, support wear. I think when you have a hernia, it's something that is really important because it allows us to carry on as much as we can, really, doesn't it? It offers us support to our abdomens, but it's really difficult to find the right one.
Yeah, it can be. So if I maybe jump in there and talk about, obviously there's lots of different types of hernias that we cater for, but the abdominal wall and the groin is kind of becoming our area of speciality. So for example, you know, when people have a surgical intervention, as a result of a surgical intervention in the abdominal wall can result in having an incisional hernia, an abdominal wall hernia, a ventricle hernia, a peristomal hernia. So there's lots and lots and lots of different types of hernias, and we tend to cater. There hasn't yet been one I haven't been able to cater for. So maybe that's good. Oh, apart from the perineum one, but we are working on that one just now. So I will put a pin in that one and come back to that one at another time. So yes, so we work with abdominal wall hernias in general. Some people, I wouldn't say the majority of our customer has a stoma and or a hernia. They will either have a stoma, they have been reversed, and as a result of the reversal, they may have an incisional hernia. As a result of stoma formation, they may have an incisional hernia, and they may also have a hernia behind the stoma. So that's kind of a double whammy, you know, a bit unlucky. But I think the consensus is that what we all know is a lot of us can end up having a hernia if we've had a surgical intervention of some way involved in the abdomen. So our role really is to get the background, because if we don't know the story and the journey of why the patient has the hernia in the first place, believe it or not, there is specific support wear in our range, and I can only speak about our range, that really will cater for your lifestyle and your wardrobe, depending on your journey with having how you've ended up with a hernia, or if you're wanting to, if you're on a watchful waiting management program, waiting for surgery. So yeah, so support wear is vitally important. We do know it's the only also patient reported published research where we had 1,528 patients responded to a survey questionnaire about the role of support wear when living with a bowel stoma and when living with a bladder stoma. And the overwhelming result was the role that support wear plays for those particular type of people, and remember these were bowel stoma or bladder stomas, was vital. So that was the overall consensus, that the role of the garment plays in the quality of life living with a stoma, bowel or bladder. So that is published, 1,528 respondents. It's the only published piece of research that has been university led. We funded the research, but we had no involvement in the analytics. We did have involvement in the study design because it was important that we ask the right questions. So having people that live with the conditions ask the right questions, shape the survey, that was really important to us. But still to this day, it's the only piece of published evidence that stands about the role of support garments with people living with a bowel or bladder stoma. So that's one aspect. Then we have people who have a surgical intervention in the abdomen and never have a stoma. They may have part of their bowel removed. They may have had a hernia from a surgery they had years ago. They went and they had it repaired and it didn't work. So there's many, many reasons why people come to us for abdominal wall support. And again, as I say, if I don't know the journey, it's not difficult for me to pick a garment for them, but it's easier if I know their journey, because I can tap into what's important to them and I can demonstrate how that comes about via a garment. Because believe it or not, and there will be skeptics out there who feel that it's a bit airy-fairy, because there absolutely is fundamentally no gold standard randomized control trial that has ever looked at the role of support garments with people who have a hernia. And for many reasons, that is. And again, we can come back to that. But right now, we have to go on the anecdotal evidence. We have to go on patients' experiences, and we have to go on the effect that it has to them. So again, support wear is very unique to the individual, to the individual's journey as to how they ended up with the hernia, and the role that it will play will be involved with the patient's compliance, and really the garment has to appeal to them. If it looks medical and bulky, it tends to bring about that whole sometimes body image, self-esteem, self-worth, you know, and the effect on the mental health as well as the physical effect. So for me to say this next statement, I'm not saying it because I feel it. I'm saying it because I have consistently heard this message that support wear has literally changed someone's life. And that is the difference between managing your abdominal wall, being able to go on that job interview, be able to be intimate with their significant other, and to feel that their back is supported as well as their core being supported. So it's not just a garment, and I cannot stress that enough. This is a process and it is a journey.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wear one of your vests. And it's one that I've tried many binders, and that's the first thing that I found that was really comfortable. So, I mean, we do have people with hernia in the umbilical hernia, epigastric hernias. Yes. We have inguinal hernias, yes, as well as the incisional hernia, and they all look for support. So there's the truss, isn't there, for the inguinal hernias, or yes, the support pants.
Yes.
We have the binders. Now, we had a lady buy the vest for the epigastric recently.
Yes.
And she found that they really help. I agree with you with the research thing, that I think there does need to be research. And I've had this discussion many times with doctors. And if anybody says to me that they don't think that they're useful, then they've never actually experienced a hernia or had abdominal wall surgery, basically, because unless you've had that, you don't realize the role they play.
And again, if we talk about binders, for example, so again, most people will have heard the term binder or hernia support belt. They may have been lucky or unlucky enough to have one applied to them during their surgical intervention at the closing stage before they go back through to recovery, and they wake up and they have an abdominal binder on them. Those people tend to be lay flat. They're recovering from surgery, and as soon as they start to move, this is where sometimes, again, I will raise the question, can a binder actually cause an issue to the abdominal wall? And there has been some evidence of raised intra-abdominal pressure when wearing an abdominal binder. But again, when you dissect that research, it's not really something that's where I can go, oh yes, I understand that, and maybe we could apply that theory here, because it doesn't touch on the way the research is done for our industry. For me, the methods was not correct in that particular piece of research. So, but to go back to binders, now, I like abdominal binders. I think they have a very useful role to play with people who have a hernia. Abdominal binders come in different depths. So, for example, there's a 16 centimeter depth, and then there's one that's a 26 centimeter. Now, of course, I didn't bring that one out, but I'm just going to just show you. It's about double these. So the width of double this is about a 26 centimeter depth. And there's a whole, actually, in fact, there's been whole threads that I've read about how you put an abdominal binder on. And really, if I say to you, if you have a stoma and you're putting on an abdominal binder, and again, remember, there is zero randomized control evidence to support what I'm saying. It comes down to sometimes a lot of common sense for the patient who has a stoma as well as an abdominal wall hernia. And for those particular people, because their output needs to go into a bag, for their output to flow correctly, they suggest you close the belt on the opposite side of where the stoma is. Now that's great, but in order to get something on the opposite side of where the stoma is, you need good upper body strength, because you need to really get this belt around the girt of the abdomen. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to stand up because it might be easier to do this when I'm standing up. So if I stand back, you might be able to see me a bit better. But basically, so I have my stoma is on the right. So my belt should technically be but at the side where I am here is where my Velcro should stop. And then this other hand goes out and it comes around my body. So this belt should be stopping where the front of my abdomen has got no Velcro, no bulky fabric and all of that. I don't know if you can see that there. And the reason for that is when it comes to our output of our stoma, we don't want too much pressure and bulk over our stoma. Even though sometimes that's where the biggest issue is for the patient, is the hernia is actually behind the stoma. We don't want to be layering extra bulk in that one area to potentially cause the output flow to go in the wrong direction and it goes out the sides of the bag, because that can be a real pain in the butt for people living with a stoma. Pardon the pun. I've been there. I wear the t-shirt, so there's nothing that hasn't happened to me that I can't discuss on this to say, look, these things can happen. Now, you've literally seen me apply that binder there. This is a medium binder. This is a medium binder. I'm not completely closed. I've got a bit of Velcro to still go, but I immediately put that on. And I'm sitting back down here talking to you guys. Now, I have an ileostomy. So my output consistency can go from pure water to a thicker consistency. My job, my role of what I do within my life, I'm a mom of young kids, I travel, I sit down. An abdominal wall binder is not suitable for my lifestyle, my wardrobe, my self-esteem. However, that's just me. And that's why I talk about, depending on your journey as to why you had a stoma, depending on your lifestyle, depending on what you wear, different items will be suitable for you. So I say this is not suitable for me sitting here right now because I am so aware that I have compressed just a very small part of my abdomen. I've only compressed 16 centimeters, so this much, and I've got it right across the middle of me. So I feel it immediately. Now, people say, oh, the reason why I'm saying to you, for me, this is not suitable. What I would do, because I have done it, is I put my binder on at its tightest that I can cope with first thing in the morning. And by 12 midday, after I've had my coffee and maybe a little snack, my output is starting to produce. My stoma is starting to produce and I feel tight. So what happens with my belt? And I'm going to demonstrate it this way. Where I might start, you've seen, I showed you that I've probably got about this much left to go. So my belt, I don't know if you can see this, my belt is tied with about this much Velcro left to go. And what I will end up doing, being sat in my chair without even realizing I'm doing it, is I'll start to cheat. I'll start to slacken it off. So a lot of patients will come and they'll say, oh, I'm wearing my belt. And I'm saying, that is brilliant. Lift your top there and let me see that belt. And I can get my two hands in and pull that right out. They might have it on them, but it's actually not giving them abdominal support. So it's then almost like a little comfort blanket for them. So belts have a real essential role to play, but they're not always there as a device that's going to lift or pull back the abdomen unless you have it tight. And a lot of people cannot tolerate tightness over that particular part of the body for a long period of time. So you have to think to yourself, well, sorry, I need to take this off right now as I'm talking to you because I just feel already I'm feeling restricted in it. So the time that I wear my belt, I would be a morning runner. I have no fuel in the tank, so I do not eat my breakfast before I run. And I've emptied my full bag from the night before. So I will get my training gear on, and I will belt up over my running trousers at bottoms. I will run for no longer than about 20-25 minutes. And my belt is on at its tightest, because not only to be supporting my abdomen and my stoma, but also because I've had 2 cesarean sections with having my stoma. I've had weight loss as well as weight gain. So I have a fat belly that jiggles. And what I want my belt to do is to hold that. And I think the benefit of that is that it's also just giving me a bit of, it's giving me some good control in the abdomen. As soon as I stop running, that's the first thing that comes off my body, and it does not go back on until the next time I'm going to run, which may be a week and a half later. So, but that belt is very essential to me for that particular thing. I then will go and I'll have my shower and I'll get ready for the day. I will decide what I'm wearing for the day, and then I'll pick the most appropriate support wear to wear with that outfit. So I've just quickly gone over abdominal wall binders. I've told you their role. They are very, very useful. Excellent, in fact. Ours is the only one that's cotton lined. But remember, you may be prescribing, and if there's clinicians listening here, you may be prescribing abdominal wall belts thinking that they are better or superior to any other garment. But I can guarantee you your patient is cheating throughout the day, because they will not tolerate the belt that tight for the entire day. And I challenge you to get 10 of your patients in. Don't tell them what you're going to do, and lift their tops and pull those belts out. They will be able to pull them out. There will be very, very few that can be compliant with a binder at its tightest all day long. There will be very, very few. So for that reason, you have to be inventive, and you have to be creative with garments that are going to do something that you can wear all day long. So, for example, and I will probably jump straight to the most popular product. And the reason why it's the most popular product is because what we find is most hernias, or people will talk about a dragging sensation, pain, abdominal, lower back pain, because they're a bit more stooped over, because the hernia is so big, it's bending them forward. We get cosmesis effect. People's mental health there is affected, because when they look in the mirror, all they see is this excessive bulge in one side or the other, and they feel they're dressing to cater for this hernia, plus or minus a stoma as well. So in the thinking of why we developed this one, most from that feedback, and also from experience of having 2 cesarean sections and a slight apron, a slight overhang from having 2 cesarean sections, I too felt actually it would be a lot better to be giving the abdomen a lift rather than squashing the abdomen back in, which is what you get with a binder. So when you put a binder around the body, you're actually going from your hips, and you're pulling in from the hips and pulling in from the front, okay? And sometimes what that ends up doing is accentuating the front, because when you're pulling from the sides, it's making the front sometimes even stick out more. Whereas if you're getting a lift, the most important part of your body to hold a lift is your shoulders. So that's why the vest is probably the most fantastic piece of kit that you will come across. I'm going to step back again. I've tried taking it out in white to show you. And this is a unisex one, so it can be worn by men or women. But I'm hoping you can see that the top part of this vest has got no support whatsoever. And the very bottom part has got no support either. But here is your binder. Can you see? It's really, really deep. So it's covering the entire abdominal wall from under the breastbone right down to the pubic bone. But the way this works, and the only way it works, is how you put it on. You mustn't put it on over your head. You must step in and pull up. And what you get is a lift of that entire abdominal wall up, and a pushback effect. And then it rests up on your shoulders, which almost become a scaffolding holding that lift up all day long. The only way, for example, if you have a stoma like me that you need to empty throughout the day, if you have a colostomy that you take your bag off and you put a new bag on, or if you have a urostomy, Again, you can function with all of our bags will still function when you have your vest on because your compression is much deeper. And all you would do with your stoma to cater to your stoma is to just lift from the bottom and then back down again. So I cannot stress how good this product is. It generally can slot into most people's wardrobes depending on what they're wearing. So for example, I showed you the unisex, which is the wider strap. This is the string strap. So again, very, very feminine. Just looks like what you'd see on the high street, but this is a medically graded belt that's deep in the middle here. And I'll have some women tell me they're of my age, which are feeling a little bit hotter and don't want to actually have the chest incorporated, but they love the binder part. So on the days where I say to them, look, if it's a day that you're particularly wearing something that you don't want it to come up onto the shoulders, just step into, fold it down and step into it like a tube. But remember, over the course of the day, that drop is going to happen because your shoulders are not there holding it up. So that is what makes this product so unique and so good, because the compliancy is far higher than a belt. However, it's not as easy to take off as a belt is. So therefore, the only way you can cheat wearing this product is to not put it on in the first place, which is why size is so important with the hernia support garments versus the belts. Because with the belts, you have a lot of space to maneuver. But where you have a lot of space to maneuver, you have a lot of space to cheat in. So there's lots and lots and lots of reasons why these products are very, very popular, very compliant with patients. But the other thing that we've started to do is we have a specific, and I'm going to stop talking in a minute because I'm very aware I'm doing all the talking here. But we have a specific measuring tape. This is specific to vanilla blush. And what we send it out to the patient, I will show you. We send it out to the patients and they put it around the fullest part of their stoma or hernia. And then it will tell them what size the product is that they need and the code that the product is. So this is very, very, very good for getting the size correct. Remember, I can do nothing about a lady's breasts. I'm an expert below her breasts to her pubic bone. So I can't do anything about the breast. So it may be a case that, but remember, the top half of the vest has got no support in it. So if you are somebody who has very small chest and does not wear a bra, then that's fine. If you're somebody who has a very, very large chest, there's no support across the breast part. It might just annoy you if you're wearing a V-cut top, but it would be in that instance that you would fold it down. I'm going to stop for a second and let you to...
No, it's fine. Yeah, I've learned that actually. And I once made the mistake of trying to put that vest on over my head and take it off over my head.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do.
It's not, but also if I go back to who my typical client might be, they will also have a stoma. So when you put it on over your head and push down, you're pushing everything down the way. And that sometimes where you have a really good spouted stoma, you end up giving it a bit of a bend. Okay. And we don't want that. We want everything to come from the bottom up to elongate. And so that when it gets up on the shoulders has some oomph to hold.
Okay. So in the UK, Nick, patients with hernia and with stoma are entitled to support garments through prescription, aren't they? So how do they go about getting that?
So basically, and this needs to be stressed again, everybody or anybody who has an abdominal wall hernia or a stoma is entitled to apply. That doesn't mean you're entitled to it, because ultimately the GP can say no. 9 times out of 10, if a GP is saying no, it's mainly because they don't understand the role that that garment plays for the person who's asking for the item. And that may involve a little chat with us or a letter from us to the GP. I would say as much as 70% of our prescription requests now come from referrals. So stomach care nurses, abdominal wall hernia surgeons, urology nurses, A&E consultants. We have been referred patients from a plethora of clinicians. So it's easier for us to write to a GP when we're able to say, so-and-so was referred to us by their clinician at this hospital because they have a peristomal hernia or they have an abdominal wall hernia and they've been advised to have a garment fitted. And 9 times out of 10, it is not an issue. Something that we do and we do as a company, and I will go to my grave doing this. If you are a new customer, a patient who comes to us and has a consultation for the first time, if you speak to us, we will only ever be ordering you 1 item. You may want more than 1, but it's essential to us that we get it right the first time. And if we don't get it right the first time, as long as you try it on over your outer clothing, we are the only company that will exchange. So it's really, really important to me, if you're going down the NHS route, and I'm not here to means test anybody, but if you're going down the NHS route, that we are really making sure that the item that is prescribed for you is used. And my commitment to you is, if it's not suitable, as long as you adhere to our exchange policy, we will exchange it for something that is suitable for you, which makes me feel less stressed about costs on the NHS, because by God, do we hear it all the time.
Yeah. So if somebody lives at the opposite end of the country to you, because you're based in Glasgow, aren't you? Yeah. So we have members everywhere in the country and abroad. How do they get this measuring tape? Can they do that, or is there a way they can just measure themselves anyway?
So we would like to send them so again, most of the, I can't say most actually, because that would just be a lie. I won't say most clinicians, but a lot of clinicians within the UK will have this tape already. It's very specific to us, and we have done thousands of them. So they give it to the patient. What happens then, if the patient is in this right down the south of England, we will then make sure the patient has the tape, and we do a telephone consultation. We have done and have been doing very, very successful fitting consultations over the phone since COVID. It has worked. We don't need to change it. We have a commitment to the patient that if we get it wrong, or if the patient gets it wrong, as long as it's adhered to our exchange policy, we will exchange it. So there really is a confidence in knowing that when you stop with us, you're getting expertise down the phone. When we do a consultation with you, it tends to last anywhere between 10 to 25 minutes, because again, it's really important to me that I know the right product is going on the right patient for the right reasons. And I want to manage your expectations. I want the first experience you have to be the best experience you have, because I want you as a customer for the rest of the time you have that hernia. If I could just say one other thing, and then again, I'll open it back to you. So we talk about the belt, the tape. Every client that either comes into our store for a consultation, or who has one of these, when we talk to them over the phone, we ask them to put the tape around them and not breathe in, but just relax their gut and give us the biggest measurement they've got. Tell us the number on the measuring tape. Now, I do this myself with every single patient that walks through my door, and I can give your abdomen anywhere between a 5 to a 7 centimeter lift with our product. So now that for somebody could be the difference between needing to stay off work because of the pain associated with the dragging sensation of the hernia, to them getting relief from the lift that the garment's given them. So when I say anywhere between 5 and 7, that will be patients who do not have stomas. So we're not trying to compress the output of the stoma, or that particular patient might come with a little bit of worry that they don't want anything too tight in case their bag leaks. But and this is what I've started documenting now, is every single patient's before and after measurement. And I am getting anywhere between 5 and 7 centimeter lift. So the girth of the abdomen is reduced by up to 5 to 7 centimeters wearing an abdominal support garment.
That is so important to help you feel so much better about yourself, doesn't it? And body image, it's difficult when you've got a great big bulging belly, or you've got a stoma or a urostomy or something. You need to try and do whatever you can to feel good about yourself.
Absolutely. And I mean, the amount of people that I've seen that's gone out to buy bigger trousers and then have the braces to hold the bigger trousers up, the cost implication to that alone. And a lot of the time, again, I'm not here to means test people. If you've got all the money in the world and you're happy to do that, then that's great. But I would rather you be able to wear what's in your wardrobe as long as you get your undergarment right. You get that undergarment right and it will liberate your wardrobe. And that again, I'll stand by that, because it is something that I have seen day in, day out with my experience with my particular clients.
So one thing what I am asked about quite frequently, Nick, is if people don't live in the UK, can they still get your products?
Yes. So we also have a company mobile phone, and we do WhatsApp videos. So they get a live WhatsApp video with us. We show them around the store. We pull out the garments. We get them to measure with using their measuring tape on a video call with us. We get them to get out, show us their clothing that they would normally wear. There's nothing stop now. These are people who obviously have smart technology and are prepared to have a chat with somebody who's thousands of miles away. We have elderly people, we have people who are not online, and again, they will have a landline. So I might just post them the little thing, and I'll ask if they could have a significant other with them to help them with the measurements, because again, they might not have a loudspeaker on their phone, you know, so it can be a bit futury for them. And also, depending on their location, we will have clinics. So we run a clinic in Aintree. And then we have been asked to run a couple more clinics. Now, our team is small. We are bijou and compact. We do not have the structure like the big companies who can be in front of clinicians day in and day out and who have the luxury of going into your home. I don't have that luxury to be able to do that. But what I can do is just be as successful with the policy that we have in place and with the product that we have.
Okay, so Shazza has asked, how are you supposed to feel when you wear it?
Yes, good question. So support wear, again, I will say to you, I am 5'7" and I'm 10 stone 2. All over vanilla blush, I would be a size 12, but in support wear, I'm in a size 14. However, I can still wear a size 12 vest, but I will get from the morning till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I start to feel tight and I need to take it off. If I wear the 14 vest, I get the entire day. So sometimes what you should be aware when you put support wear on, you should be aware that you've got it on, but you should be able to forget about it. The next time you become aware of it, if it's correct sizing, should be either just after your last full meal in the evening or just before your last full meal in the evening. You will start to feel tight. That is your little alarm bell to say, okay, take me off now and don't put me back on until the next day.
Okay. So that leads me into a next question for somebody who's watchful waiting with an inguinal hernia.
Yeah.
He's asked, how long is it safe to keep the support wear on throughout the day? And is there any research about that, which I think we've already answered? There isn't any research, but how long do the
so
are supposed to wear them?
If we go with, for example, an inguinal hernia, and we have just finished our prototype of our own inguinal hernia product. And right now, sorry ladies, but right now this one is specific to men. So if something is against the groin, it tends to be there's 7 days in the week, and we tend to change our pants every day. So an inguinal support garment can become expensive if you're needing to buy 7 at approximately £40 a pair, because this is something that is not available to be prescribed in inguinal specific support. There is a few little ones that I think through community-based pharmacy programs you can get a couple. But you're talking on average, this product is going to cost anywhere upwards of £40 to £50. And so you would need 7 days a week. So we tend to say to people, we would advocate it that they wear it up and over their own pants. Now, unlike the products that I've just shown you, the vest and the belt and stuff like that, the core market for these products were people who also had a stoma. And it just happens to be, they also work really, really well with people who have any other abdominal wall hernia. I have also used the hernia support vest for a really prominent inguinal hernia that was non-operable, bulging, and the man got the lift from the bottom of the vest, because remember I said to you the top part of the vest has got there's a line here, but there's also a line here. And what we did with this particular man, because he wasn't very tall and we couldn't get anything else for his undercarriage, we couldn't get anything that would lift it up. So we were able to get him into the vest, and he got some groin support from actually the bottom of that vest. So that, and I say that I have dealt with probably about 2 other massive inguinal non-operable hernias with this product too. It's not rocket. I do not have any basis to say that this product works with inguinal hernias. I've catered for 2. But we have developed our own inguinal hernia thrusts. And what I would say to you is, we have tried to incorporate the concepts of what we have in the garment into this, but it's still coming out as a bit of a thicker garment. So it is designed to be worn direct to naked skin, because there's a Velcro opening for the man to urinate from without having to take it down. But I am saying to you, they are going to be needing to wear this product right 6, 8, 10 weeks. The other slight thing that I will use myself as an example is support wear tends to be quite addictive. So when you've got it on and then you suddenly think, oh, I don't need that anymore, or you're getting dressed for the day and suddenly your support wear is not washed and you have to go and you wear something else, you're very aware that your abdomen's not being supported. So it is something I do tend to tell people as well. By the way, this is slightly addictive. Again, have no evidence to say that. It's just anecdotal evidence. It's what I see. People can't live without it. But to answer your question, I would definitely be wearing an and also inguinal hernias have a high reoccurrence rate as well. So, you know, I would definitely be wearing it for a good few months. What's the problem with wearing it for a year?
There isn't any. I think this man was particularly watchful waiting, and I think he was talking about, does he wear it 24/7 or?
Yeah, again, the evidence and the jury's out. The reason why I would probably not wear, for example, if I go onto an inguinal hernia and when I look at this one I have created, the reason why I wouldn't wear that in bed at night is just that I would say it wouldn't be as breathable as wearing cotton knickers in bed at night.
Yeah.
And so there's other implications that come in for women of a certain age as well. We need cotton in the gusset. We need, you know, to be able to not generate more issues going on in that pelvic floor area. So for that reason, I'd probably say, yeah, I wouldn't be wearing it at nighttime.
No. After surgery, I think that what you said there is true, that you can become dependent on it, can't you? I mean, the recommendation, and it is only a recommendation, is 6 weeks to wear your support wear after incisional hernia repair. But I do think sometimes we get dependent on them. I only wear mine now when I feel like I'm having a really bad day, or I know I'm going to be doing a lot during the day.
Well, again, obviously with the research that's going on now with Proffer Cipher and stuff like that, we are going to start to see more and more stuff emerge. But certainly the buzzwords around the hernia community is about the sudden rise in the intra-abdominal pressure that comes about from things we don't think about, things sometimes we have no control over, which is and so there's things that sometimes we get notice of, sometimes we don't. Now, if I go back to the binder thing, where we just put binders on at times where we're being physically, more active in our body, and if I go back to the scenario where I have my binder on at its tightest, and then when I stop running, I stop running, and it tends to be associated with then getting into the shower and getting ready for the day. But let's say I just use that binder for running. And then I was getting ready for work, and I'm sat in work and I'm having my cup of tea and a biscuit. It goes down the wrong way. And I get this, because when you've got a cough, when food goes down the wrong way, it's a bit more of a forceful cough than just a little, but even a little, cough. Again, I would love to see the evidence of how high does the intra-abdominal pressure go that can be dangerous. But there is a little bit more theory along the lines that from the moment we're stood up, we're at risk of developing hernias, because we don't know when a cough and a sneeze is going to come on. So what's the worst thing that having a garment on could do for you? Is there any negative impact? No, absolutely not. Is there a negative impact to an abdominal binder at its tightest? I would say yes. I would feel sick if I was to still be sitting here right now with that abdominal binder around that middle part of my abdomen. I would start to feel sick. I would start to feel full. and I might actually have my output start to go in the wrong direction. So my stoma will start to produce out the side. That would give me a disaster for my day. So I would say, what's the worst thing that can happen with an abdominal binder? You may be at increased risk of leaking if you're wearing it correctly. If you're not wearing it correctly, why are we prescribing them at a rate of knots? And why are we prescribing them over a garment that is not got Velcro in it? Because we think it doesn't have the clinical significance as a belt, but actually we have no evidence whatsoever that belts work either. No. So for me, it's about cost consciousness, it's about wearing the product, and it's about effectiveness of the product.
Okay. So I was asked, and I think you've already answered this, a lady who's had a liver transplant and has a large hernia and a drain as well, for a hepatic drain. She asked which was going to be the best support wear for her, but I would imagine from what you've said, is going to be the vest again.
I would highly recommend the vest or the deeper belt. Give me 2 seconds. No, do I have one? I'm going to grab a deeper belt because I want to show you the other thing with the belts. Give me 2 seconds. I see one. 2 seconds.
No worries. Thank you, Nick.
I have a deeper belt here. So if I show you the deeper belt, the issue, I don't know if I can see this. Can you see that there's 4 receivers for this big deeper belt? Well, what happens when you get a deeper belt is it gets a little bit more cumbersome to beautifully match the Velcro to the receiver. So what you have to do with these type of belts is you loosely put it around your abdomen, you see where it closes, and then you take it off, you close it where you see it closing, and then you step into it and pull it up. So your Velcro is to either the back of you or to the side of you. You will get a lift. You'll definitely get a lift with the 26 centimeter belt, and it's really comfortable to wear because you're not putting it on this way. You're stepping in. So you're not getting that hip and buttocks, cheeks, and everything pulled in at once. You're getting a step in and up. So that's what makes that. So that particular person, she may well get on very well with a 26 centimeter belt, but she'll also could get on very well with the vest.
Okay, we shall recommend that she may ring you and speak there.
No
what about sizes? What sizes do they go up to? Because we have people worried that they're not going to get one to fit.
Right. So again, Vanilla Blush, proudly, we are the only garment company on the market to stock the largest hernia support belt in the entire UK as a standard stocked belt. We cover the large a girth of 175 centimeters. So that is a stocked product for us. So whether you're 65 centimeters in your girth or whether you're 175 centimeters in your girth, the price is the same. We don't suddenly go, oh, you've got a much bigger belly, we need to do a customized belt for you, which is going to cost the NHS an awful lot more money. And guess what? When I make a customized belt for you, by the time it gets to you, your shape may have changed. So you might not be able to wear it for long. We do the stocked belt on the market. It's the largest one that's available in the entire UK. In fact, it could be global. I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to back that up and say it is. But 175 centimeter girth, £60 on the NHS or £60 to the patient who wants to buy it privately. As long as this is tried on the correct way and over your outer garments, we will exchange for bigger or smaller, which is why we always put one of our little measuring tapes in with the belts as well. So that's a belt binder. So suitable for lots of people. I then have people who cannot tolerate binders. No matter what they do, they can't tolerate a binder, but they're short and they're wide. So again, we have to work on what I said about the ladies' vest. We go up to a UK size 22 to 24. And depending on if you have a stoma or not, if you do not have a stoma, you will, and you're 24 plus, you're going to tolerate more compression than somebody who has a stoma, who's a bit anxious about the flow of the stoma. So I have patients, believe it or not, and I have clients who are greater than UK size 26 in a clothing. And the vest still works for them. They may also have a very, very big chest, or they may be very short and quite wide. So the vest would be utilized as a tube for them. They would fold it back down because we don't want it to end up as a dress on them. Because again, remember, cosmesis is so, so important. We want to feel as if we're getting something that allows us feel a little bit of va-va-voom about how we feel and how we look.
Yeah. So let's talk about va-va-voom. And you have a range of stoma wear, don't you? Of lovely lingerie wear for stomas to make a patient feel good about themselves.
Yeah. And that really came about through lived experience. So, you know, background as an intensive care nurse, ended up with ulcerative colitis, met my husband at the same time I was diagnosed with colitis. We were newly going out with each other. The aspect of me pooing myself was the most undignifying, non-feminine thing that could ever or the undignifying experience I could ever talk about. And we want to look good and feel good. So when I eventually had my stoma, I was 1 year married when I had my stoma created. And yes, it is major, major surgery. If I didn't have to have stoma surgery, I wouldn't have stoma surgery. But at the same time, my stoma gave me the ability to have my children. So I'm very out and about stomas, but equally the people who either walk through my door or I have the luxury of speaking to them down the phone or online and hearing their stories. It's okay for them to hate their stoma. It's okay for them to feel that it's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. And I need to be able to cater for them too. I might have my experience, but they have theirs. But what I did find was I just felt that I wanted, it wasn't that I was ashamed of my bag. It wasn't that I wasn't happy with how I looked. It was just the functionality on the inside of the product that I needed to make work for me. So we designed products that have an internal pocket that runs from the left to the right. Sorry, I forgot to get one. 2 seconds. I should have been able to turn my camera. Oh my God, when this goes on YouTube Live, they'll be like, what is she doing? Anyway, so I've just pulled out a pink pair of knickers, okay? So cool. These are called, what are they called? Retro 80s, I think, something like that, right? So I turn it inside out here. Oh, that's not good. Turn it inside out here. And there's a pocket system that runs from the left to the right. So the bag sits inside the pocket. Now, this is advocated for people who angle their bag inwards towards the groin. Because when you have an ileostomy or a urostomy, which is the bladder one, being able to still sit on the toilet and empty your bag between your legs the way you used to sit on the toilet and have a poo brings back that element of normalcy again for people. So when your bag is angled inwards towards the groin, the distance between, and this will, people who have a stoma will obviously get this more than your other viewers who won't have a stoma, but we have a base plate of our bag that sits on top of our stoma, and then we have the bag that sits lower. And where my thumb is almost the bottom of the base plate of the base plate, and then where my other finger is where the bottom of the bag would be. And the distance between the two of them, sometimes we can get hot and sweaty. And that hot and sweaty can make us think that we're leaking when we're not leaking. It can also generate a body odor, even though we're clean. We're in and out of the shower every single day because our bags are still plastic. There's still an element of heat that comes off that bag, as well as your output that's coming out of that bag. And that can result in the person feeling sore skin or being aware of odor. And we're already slightly got a heightened sense of smell, us with a stoma. When our bum is in the front, it's closer to our nose. So we're already got a heightened sense of smell. So that can be the difference between someone leaving their house or not leaving their house that day. So again, knickers can literally change someone's outlook on life because it's been adapted for them. And why should I make it ugly looking? It's nice to have a bit of fashion. So I've just pulled you out a pink pair. But if I pull out, like, for example, a higher waisted, beautiful lace back, stretch lace to the back, and higher waisted here. We also do a crotchless knicker. So for intimacy purposes, for the lady who feels that she doesn't want to have her bag on show and wants to be intimate, she can still stick her bag inside the pocket and the crotch will open so she can be intimate and she doesn't even need to remove her knickers.
So do these work for people who have peristomal hernias as well?
Yes, because again, someone who has just because you have a peristomal hernia doesn't mean you can't be intimate. It may mean that your body image is affected by being intimate. But again, you could get the intimacy knicker, but you're not using the pocket because you don't have a stoma, but you have a hernia. And if we think about we're using it for intimacy, I don't know anybody who can go all night. But so it doesn't tend to be, it tends to be using them for a very short period of time. So of course you can still be intimate when you have a hernia. It's just what your body is able to do. But if you're asking me, can people who have a hernia have intimacy? I would say, of course, as long as
Of course they can. Absolutely. They just have to get creative.
absolutely, absolutely. And yes, you can get very creative. You can also, you don't need to buy crotchless knickers. You can just pull your own underwear to the side, find a pair of knickers that you like and pull to the side and on you go.
Yeah, it's found some that fit and off you go.
Yeah.
There is the element with binders of pain management, isn't there? Why
Yeah.
do they help with pain?
Well, particularly but I would not say binders help with pain. I
No,
would
what,
say
the support, the vest, yes.
I would say a vest helps with pain because it's the only product on the market that your shoulders are holding a lift.
Right.
So you're getting an abdominal wall lift of anywhere between 5 and 7 centimeters of a difference. Now, if you're getting pain associated with a dragging sensation, then that vest is really going to help with that pain. But again, I cannot scientifically back that up. But neither can a binder company. So please be assured that what I'm saying to you, no one else could say to you either, because there is no evidence to suggest. I'm only going on feedback. 10 years in this, over 10 years in this industry, and 18 years having an ostomy.
Yeah, I must admit, I find mine really do help with pain.
Great. Which one?
The
Binders?
best.
Best. Okay. And remember, before we've had this conversation, and hopefully there will be people on here who have never even thought about a binder and thought, oh, or I never even thought about a vest and thought, oh, I might give that a go. And the thing is, sometimes what I get when people put it on first, they go, yeah, I feel it. And then I get them to sit in the chair. If they're in our store, I get them to sit in the chair. And then I'll say, so how are you feeling? I don't feel anything. Like, it feels really comfortable. And then I put an abdominal binder around them as well. And then I also get them to sit down. And that's when they go, oh my God. But at that point, they've got two belts on. So when they're sitting down, they then take off the first binder and they feel, oh, but then I remind them, but you're still wearing a binder. So the first one that they've got on, it adjusts to them so quickly that they don't even feel they've got it on. But remember, that alarm bell will still kick in during the day. So when the alarm bell kicks in and you have to take it off, be aware that that's been on you all day long and you've not had that alarm bell.
Oh, that's amazing. Let me see if we've got any more questions. I don't know if there's anybody else, but we're coming up to near enough time now.
No, sorry, all I've done is talked.
That's what you were there for, Nick.
I know, but
we've had some people who use maternity belts. Now, if they
don't
can't,
have support in them.
Sorry, they don't have.
They don't have support in them.
No.
So I would challenge you to say, measure your gut without your hernia, without your maternity support belt. Measure your gut at the fullest point. Put your maternity support belt on and measure your gut again.
Okay.
And the proof will be in the measurement.
We have other people as well who wear support wear. You know, I don't want to offend anybody, but I call them fat pants.
Yeah, I wear fat pants.
Yeah, they help as well, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, today I'm wearing a skirt, and under my skirt, I'm not going to show you, but I'll show you from the top. But under my skirt, so there's my knickers, there's my black knickers, and there's my fat pants, which is I've actually got. I'll show you now. I've actually got. This is a male hernia support boxer, right? Can you see the belt is at the top?
Yeah.
But if I bring it out here, so I'm wearing this under this skirt, although you can't see the skirt, but I'm wearing it under this skirt because to stop the chub rub, and because the top I was wearing today wasn't suitable to wear my vest. So remember, your support wear needs to work with your lifestyle and your wardrobe.
That's it. It's important there. You've really given us something to think about, that there are things that we can wear different ones at different times.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm even wearing a man's boxer today.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you. Is there any difference between the male and the female garments?
No, not at all. Only I feel this particular one that I made for men, I feel it's brilliant. And I'm in the process of renaming it to be unisex. The only thing is obviously with the man's appendage, there's a tiny little bit of bulk there when I have it on my body, but no one's seen it. And yet my outer outfit looks fabulous. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it really helps. And if I wear them in black and happen to take them off in front of my husband, although he wouldn't care, he wouldn't even know.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's something else to think about and to let people know. So, Nick, we're coming to the end of the time now, and it's been absolutely amazing to speak to you. I've learned so much tonight. It's been really eye-opening. Yeah, thank you. I don't think anybody's left any questions. I think we've answered everything that people wanted to know.
I think for me, my message would be to clinicians. My message would be when you're making budgetary decisions or you're making formularies within your departments for what can and cannot be prescribed, don't automatically think because a company can offer a service, it makes the product better. The product needs to work for the patient, and that might not always be with the company who has the service that they can provide with going into the patient's home. There's a fitness support garment on somebody in a patient's home will not necessarily yield higher compliance. It simply won't. Do you know what I mean? So I think I would like to see clinicians be a little bit more open-minded to go, if we are looking at cost saving, Vanilla Blush is the cheapest on the drug tariff. We exchange, we do consultations with our experts. We all attend the congresses. So we're up to date with all the pioneering new stuff that's happening. So that's my role, is that you'll get an expert's opinion down the phone when you speak to us.
And that is so important because when we are wearing the garments, it's so important to us to know that it's there. And Karen has said, thank you so much. She's learned such a lot tonight. It's been a pleasure, Karen. I'm glad about that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And
okay.
I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Okay. Cheers just now.
Cheers. So everybody knows Vanilla Blush.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everybody.
I don't know how